Welcome to day 16 of our mobility series, and today we're going to do a little bit just following off of the self-massage that we did yesterday. We're just going to add on to that, and then we're going to go into our hips and our lower back. So basically what today is first off, number one, is we want to do some of that self-massage that we did yesterday on those particular areas. But one of the things that can happen is our upper back and our thoracic area, if that is really tight, that actually pulls along the entire length of the spine, and that can create tension. So if we're really tight up in here in this area, those muscles along the back, along the spine, are tight up here, and that causes pull and tightness down in the lower back, which can then also cause tightness into the hips as well. So one of the things we want to do is go through and loosen up that upper back area, and that will help release some tension in the lower back. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use one of a couple tools. So these are essentially it's basically a cross ball, two of the cross balls stuck together basically. It's a dense ball. You can take two tennis balls and duct tape them together. You can take two tennis balls, put them inside of a tube sock and tie the end. That's another option. This is also another option, so another tool to use. And basically what this does is the little gap in the middle creates space for your spine so that you don't have pressure on the vertebrae along your back. You just get into pressure into the muscles along the sides of the back. So basically what you're going to do with this is we're going to mobilize the upper back a little bit, and we're going to start with the ball approximately around the bottom of your shoulder blade area. And so I'm just going to lay that on the ground and adjust the tool right around the bottom part of my shoulder blade, and right here we're just going to have the hands across the chest, and from here we're going to keep the stomach really tight, and we're just going to do a little like a mini crunch essentially, and we're just going to get some of the muscle fibers to move and moving the vertebrae, separating them away from each other a little bit. You may get a little bit of manipulation in the sense of a little bit of a crack, and that's actually not a bad thing. It's a good thing, create more movement. And once you do anywhere from 3 to 5 of these little crunch motions, you're just gonna move about an inch down so the ball rolls up the back a little bit higher to the next vertebrae, and you're gonna repeat that just 3 to 5 little mini crunches, and you're gonna keep on going all the way up to the upper back, going up, and you're gonna go basically up until around approximately this area here, about the top of your shoulder blade, just creating some movement in that upper back so that we can release some tension down in the lower back. So after you've done the myofascial release and the self-massage with the balls on the adductors, the glutes, the piriformis, and the other areas that we talked about yesterday, and you've done the mobilization in your upper back with those two balls, the next step is to just again create a little bit more mobility through the upper back, and then we'll dive into the lower back and the hips. So basically think about each time you want to create mobility in your lower back and your hips, we're going to go through that series of soft tissue work, a little bit of mobility, and then we'll go into the lower back and the hips. So we're going to go back into our sideline windmill that we did in our upper back shoulder mobility series. So using your foam roller, knee is here resting on the foam roller, bottom arm straight out, and basically you're going to push into the roller with your knee a little bit just to stabilize your lower back. And the next step here is you're going to take your top shoulder, you're going to push it forward, so you do a little bit of a reach, and then the object is to keep that thumb as close to the ground as you can as you do a big circle around your body. So this is what it'll look like. Push the shoulder forward, breathe out, set that rib cage, press the knee down, and then we're going to trace that thumb as close to the floor as you can, and you're going to look at that thumb the entire way around. So we're getting mobility all through the mid-back, upper back, shoulders, chest, and the neck. And then once you get to this point, just bring the arm back over and around, and then push that shoulder forward and go all the way. Try to open up a little bit more each round as you go around there and back. And if you find that it's going to be easier to keep your thumb on the ground if you don't maintain tension in your stomach and keeping your rib cage down. Because if I extend through my back, it's really easy for me to keep that thumb on the ground. But if I breathe out, set that rib cage, and maintain that position, once I get over here, there's a lot of tension going on and around my chest and my shoulders that it's hard to keep that hand on the ground. And so really just make sure that you're setting that rib cage down. And so the step is to, again, go through that and mobilize the upper back, and then the next step now is to go into our lower body and the lower back and the hips.